gift card from my parents, if that's okay. Yeah, we do have an only child, and we absolutely love that. As a family, we got a pet. We got a leopard gecko a few years back. Anyone have one of these monsters at home? Yeah, just us. Yeah, I don't know what it is about me, but I love a pet that like would eat me if it could. You know, so I like the leopard gecko, but I underestimated the maintenance for these things. Man, keeping that lizard alive was so much harder than keeping our kid alive. No, if you ever had one of these, like giving kids some chicken nuggets, they're good. Not a gecko. You need to give them mealworms and waxworms and crickets and a special food for the crickets. Yeah. You need to feed the food. I don't know, that sounds like a pyramid scheme. Just saying, it's weird, it's weird. I'll finish up with this, man. This is a really, really great night to be with you guys. A little while back, my son and I were shopping. I brought him out to a store, and this place kind of freaked me out because there was all these no shoplifting signs everywhere. You ever been to one of these places? Like so many no shoplifting signs, I thought they sold signs. And like, I'm a good guy, right? I'm a Christian, but it started making me feel weird. Like, they're looking at me, you know? I'm like, why am I gonna steal from you? I'm a dad shopping with his kid. I would have him do it. You know what I mean? Like, no, buddy. Get daddy the Milwaukee drill. That's it. Hey, that's my time tonight, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for joining us. Give it up for yourself one more time. We're going to bring Jordan right back up.
All right, give it up for Matt one more time. Come on. Yeah, we only have one kid as well, and that gives me plenty of hope knowing that we're only going to be his friends and his best friends forever, which is so exciting. Hey, our next comedian, you may have noticed when you guys were in the gym dressed up as Barney Fife. He was on duty as Barney Fife. His camp comedy special is aired on Dry Bar Comedy. Put down the sweet tea. We are so excited to welcome back to the stage Rick Roberts.
A couple of years ago when I was here the other time. Great, I recognize a lot of you out there we're at dinner. But I'm excited to be here. I drove 8 hours to be here for y'all tonight from the Detroit airport. I tell you, a little bit of traffic going on right there. I live down in Nashville, Tennessee. How many folks have been out to Nashville, Tennessee out there? All right. Now, if you've never been there, it's about $586 general stores away from here. Just down the road a little bit. When I come up here, I like to notice the different things that y'all have that we don't have in Tennessee that I wish we had. Y'all have Meijer. I love going to Meijer. Y'all go to Meijer? Oh, it's like Walmart for people who like to wear shoes. It is something else. Yeah, I love going to those places like after the holiday specials because they have the aisles and aisles of stuff that didn't make it for the holidays. The people nobody bought them. That's where you get some good gifts for next Christmas, you know? I found these when I went to Meijer the last time I was up here. Microwavable slippers. You ever heard of these? See, this is up north. We don't need these in Tennessee. It doesn't get that cold. But up here, apparently you heat them up on medium for 30 or 40 seconds and they keep your feet warm for like a whole hour. That's good for you, but too bad for the next guy to use that microwave oven right there. What do you put all these nachos? They got a kick. It's good to be up here, good weather. I was worried I saw a couple days ago maybe some tornadoes were rolling through the area. Some scary stuff. Y'all have been through a tornado? Oh, yeah, I've been through two. First one I was in, I guess I was 9 years old, 1977. All kinds of crazy weather that year. The alarm was going off. My dad was trying to get everybody in the middle room of the house. We had a little bathroom in the middle of the ranch house, you know. He said, everybody get in there, we got to hunker down. And then he turned on the radio and they said, get in the tub and put a mattress on top of you. It's bad. Get a mattress on top of you. My dad went to his room, got the king mattress, and he tried to get that thing down the hallway all by himself. by yourself. You're knocking pictures off the wall, turn the furnace up on the way down. We all get in the tub, he puts it on top of us, and man, let me tell you what, we had baked beans for dinner that night. The storm was raging on the inside and the outside, I tell you what. Just like a train. The second time I was in a tornado was about 4 or 5 years ago. I was sitting at a Cracker Barrel restaurant having my Uncle Herschel's favorite. And the tornado siren goes off there, and I start looking around for a safe place to hide. Now, can you pick a more unsafe restaurant to be in during a twister than a Cracker Barrel? You ever look at the walls and ceilings? They got hose, pitchforks, antlers. Golf tees are flying at you 90 miles an hour. I was slipping on cherry cobbler for a half an hour trying to get it. I love that Cracker Barrel. I go too much though. I got high cholesterol now. Anybody else got the high cholesterol? This guy down here got it? You got it pretty good? What's your number? You got no idea, but you know you got it? That's how I felt about my retirement. I know I've got it, I just have no idea what it is. Now, you don't want it higher than 200. My cholesterol number was 425.
Whoa!
Yeah. Well, that was the highest in my county, so I got to go to regionals that weekend. I was eating butter to get my numbers up. Juicing. But my doctor didn't laugh. He goes, you got to change your diet and your exercise programs. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Don't have either program going on now. Matter of fact. I said, what do you want me to do first? He said, get on a diet, come back, we'll check your numbers again. I said, what diet? He said, just pick one you can stick with. That's not good advice. I started Googling diets, you know, and I found a website. You put in what foods you like to eat, and it tells you what diet will let you eat that food. You'll find a diet that works that way, let me tell you. I like to eat meat, so it said, get on the Atkins diet. I've never heard of that one before, but that was popular. You ever get on the Atkins? I don't know how people stick with it. You're supposed to eat meat 5 or 6 times a day. Then it says smoke you a cigarette and take a nap. That was a Chet Atkins diet that I got on. If you don't know who he is, you probably don't have high cholesterol. So that didn't work. Then he said you got to get some exercise going. He actually said, why don't you ride a bike 3 or 4 times a week for an hour at a time? I said, I'll tell you why not. I'm 55. Now you see a man my age on a bicycle, you do not think he's exercising. Do you? You're like, that poor guy had a repo or a DUI. That's what you're thinking. You don't say it, but you're thinking. So I said, I can't do that either. He goes, well, why don't you get on this medicine? We got wonderful medication we can put you on. I said, well, I don't know about wonderful. I've seen every pill commercial there is on TV now. They're doing whole 90-second ballads now, aren't they? Big song and dance numbers. People out there singing about Ozempic and all this stuff. Sky Rizzy. I don't need to see Sky Rizzy in a commercial when I'm eating bacon. That's just not right. You know, good luck with it. There's one commercial that says, may cause an early death. Have you heard that one? How about late death after dinner once we have a pie? My least favorite one, they go, may cause explosive diarrhea. Hey, nobody knows I got cholesterol. This other thing they might find out. They beat the clock with the toilet all afternoon. And then after that pill commercial, I saw the new, it was Pepto-Bismol commercial. They got a new version of Pepto-Bismol. Do we need a new version? It does the job, right? This is a combination that shouldn't exist. It's a new idea, I don't think it's better. They said now it comes with a healthy dose of melatonin so you can get right back to sleep. Now listen, I'm not a big fan of the diarrhea. But I would like to be a witch and it occur again. My wife is not going to put up with this. She doesn't like when I snore in bed. So I didn't want to get on any of the pills. And he said, well, we'll get on this lipid tour. We'll give you a 2-week free supply just to see if it works okay with your system. I said, well, no harm there. I'll try it. Had no side effects at all for 14 days. 15th day, major side effect kicked in when I had to pay for it. Oh. You know what Lipitor cost? $8 a pill. That is a Big Mac and a side of fries. $8 right there. And if you're taking them pills, they're tiny. Like one more I got and I dropped my pill and I couldn't find it and I was out $8. Now I just wrap it up in a piece of ham, swallow it whole every day. Got some cheese on there, you got a pill and a blanket, right? Sell that back to Pfizer. And my wife knows I got high cholesterol now, so she's trying to sneak different food on my plate that's supposed to be healthier, but I don't think it's healthier. Like she tried to get me to eat an Impossible Burger. You ever have one of them deals? I tell you, that's impossible to finish. I'll tell you that much right now. I took one bite, I'm like, what is that? She goes, honey, it's a bunch of vegetables squished together that taste like meat. I said, honey, when I was growing up, they called that hamburger helper. You didn't put on a bun and call it dinner. That's the truth. She goes, well, you gotta eat healthier. Kentucky Fried Chicken is coming out with chickenless chicken. You heard about that? Oh, Colonel Sanders kicked the bucket a second time when that news came out, I guarantee you. If I bite into a wing bean and it tastes like a green bean, we're gonna fight, I'll tell you that. So she said, just eat more chicken and less red meat. We said, oh, I can do that. Like going to the Chick-fil-A. Those are some nice people right there, aren't they? Man, I love them chicken. You know, I'll be honest, the chicken to me tastes the same as Popeyes or Bojangles or whatnot. It's all the same. But the people are extra nice. And that's worth going for, ain't it? Yeah, every time I go, there's something going on. I heard about this happen in Texas a couple years ago. The lady was on the way to the hospital to give birth to her first baby. About 20 miles out, her water broke. She panicked. She told her husband, we cannot make it to the delivery room. But up ahead on this exit, there's a Chick-fil-A. It'll be clean, they're going to be nice, and they're going to help us out. Pull on in there. First off, if people are having babies at your fast food joint that is clean, congratulations. Well done. Ain't no babies over at Arby's right now, I'll tell you that much. They got the meats, but they ain't got no babies. So the husband pulls in the parking lot, talks to the manager at Chick-fil-A. He said, I guess they'll bring her in. And she has the baby right there. And it was clean, they were nice, and they helped her out. Isn't that something else? That's above and beyond. But here's what got me. After everything settled down, he said, this was a blessing to us. You know what? Y'all can eat here for free until that kid turns 14 years old, and then we'll give him a job. Isn't that something else? That's amazing. I told my wife, we missed out on that deal. If y'all know those rules, I would have had my baby at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Is what I'd done. Might be some more than $18 mashed potatoes while we're sitting here. Waiter brings out the bill's going to be $115. I don't think so. Have you met my baby, Ruth? Right there. Twin brother Chris. Yeah, I do. I've got kids myself, and I know we got a lot of parents out there, maybe some grandparents or great-grandparents. It's great watching them grow up, isn't it? Like when you have your first baby, it's nerve-wracking. Like every single thing's crazy. It's first time for everything. I didn't think I was going to change any diapers. That's how dumb I am. I had a baby, and well, my wife's friend gave us something called a diaper genie ahead of time. You ever heard of a diaper genie? That's not a problem solved. We got a diaper genie. You got to pop out and change a diaper and hop back in the bottle. There ain't no genie. That's some false advertising. It's just an $18 stinky bucket. That is all it is. This winds up the diapers and the sausage links so you can drag it out to the trash on Thursday. Let's go. If you see a genie, wish for some Febreze. That's what we do. I remember the first time I had to change my son, he was my firstborn. I was out at the mall. I had to use one of those plastic koala bear Ebola dispensers. You ever seen them things? Right. How does that get past R&D? That's my first question. But I didn't know how it worked. It just said baby changing station. So I put him on there and closed it up real tight. Quit fighting it, buddy. Quit fighting it. Let it do the work. That is not how it's supposed to be done. I felt so bad. He was screaming. I just pulled it back down and unfolded him, you know. About 30 minutes later, we tried it again after security left. And I said, listen, just hang out. I'm going to read every instruction on here so I don't mess it up. And I'm reading. Then down at the bottom, there's a sticker that says, wait not to exceed 150 pounds. That is a big old baby right there. If your baby's pushing the $1.50, put down the sweet tea and head out of the food court. That's a blue ribbon. That's a state fair baby is what it is. Like, I can do it myself. Get out of the way. That baby's got high cholesterol, I guarantee you. But they grow up fast. People will tell you their firstborn, hey, they're going to say some funny stuff. Make sure you write it down so you remember when they get older. But they don't tell you or warn you, and sometimes their kids will say creepy things too, don't they? And stuff you have no idea where it comes from. Remember my son was like 3 or 4 years old. I was tucking him in bed one night. I'm like, hey, buddy, hope you have sweet dreams. He looks right up at me and he goes, I hope you're still breathing when I wake up. What do you know that I don't know? I was awake, I didn't sleep a wink that whole night. And sometimes when they say funny stuff, you can't really laugh because it wasn't the right kind of funny. Y'all know, like, is it funny if you don't encourage more of it? Remember, he was like 12 or 13. We're brushing our teeth one night before bed. We're just kind of hanging out and chilling. And I noticed he's looking at me for a while, then back at him, then back at me, then back at him. I said, what's the matter, bud? He said, Papa, I just noticed me and you would kind of look alike. I said, well, that's kind of how it works. What do you think about that, buddy? He looks back at me and goes, what are you going to do? I don't know, but you're going to go to bed early. Oh, you won't get a date for prom. And he didn't. He's 18 now, been a good kid, my firstborn, no problems. The only problem I had is when he turned 16. He did not want to learn how to drive. I don't know if y'all know kids or teenagers like this, it was a thing. You know what I'm talking about? People think I make this up because my generation, we could not wait to get behind the wheel. Have some freedom, get a job, earn some money, do what we needed to do. When he turned 16, I said, let's go for a test drive. He goes, I don't want to learn how to drive. I said, your friends will be driving, you'll be left behind. They're not going to be driving either. And he was right. I started digging into it, and apparently, they're just all afraid they're going to have a head-on collision with a job or an occupation. Side swap by a W9 in a four-way. So I was still driving them to birthday parties when they were 17. Isn't that embarrassing? The last time I took them all out, my son and 5 of his friends, they wanted to go to Top Golf. Y'all ever been to one of those deals? Yeah, Top Golf. We had a brand new one in Nashville. They said, will you take me and my buddies down there? I'm like, all right, so you don't have to start driving. So I got 6 teenagers in my car. First off, crack the window, okay, fellas? It's a BO for the BO, fellas, all right? It smelled like I was driving a puberty Uber, is what it was. Voices were cracking. Is that a honky tonk? Yes, it is, Eeyore. But he's been good. Now, I've got an 11-year-old daughter. She's sweet when she wants to be, and she's trouble when she wants. Y'all know little kids like that? Little girls are tough. They're so hard, man. Like as a dad, as a guy, I don't want to tell her to keep her feelings to herself, but boy, I wish she would. It is exhausting. Every little thing is the biggest thing ever with her, you know? And we've taught our kids to be honest, but they don't always know when not to say stuff. You know, and sometimes it comes back at you. The other day, she had a bunch of new spelling words she came home from school with. And she's 11. I said, what are your spellers? She goes, well, this one I don't even know what it means. Non-essential. What is that? I'm like, well, it's something that's nice to have, but you don't absolutely have to have it. She goes, oh, I get it. Kind of like your hair. Kind of like your college fund. But she's all right. I got good kids. My wife, I give all the credit to. Been married for 23 years. Boy, it's going fast. 23 years. That's not bad. I bet somebody out there's been married more than 40. Anybody more than 40 years? Can we say 50? Anybody still in 50 years of being married? Look at this. 55 years of being married? How long back there?
60.
60. How about down here? I got 60 back there. I got 62 down here. I got 60 back there. I got 62 down here. I got 63. I got 63. I got 63. Got anybody above 62? No? Have a nice round of applause for both. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. How old? How long?
65.
still sitting in the same row with each other. That's a good marriage right there. I think marriage is probably you just have to make so many decisions together, and it can get off track once in a while. And if you don't communicate clearly, it gets way off track, and you've got a big problem, My wife will always reel me back in, The other day, well, actually in February, she said this. This is one I'm going to put this on a bumper sticker. This is a classic line from my wife. She goes, I want you to communicate more, but I'm tired of hearing you talk. Well, I'll shoot you a telegraph to your fax machine later. What am I supposed to do? Does that make any sense to anybody out there? Usually one lady will know what she meant. I said, honey, what does that even mean? She goes, sometimes we'll sit down and we'll talk for like a whole hour, but we get up and we haven't said nothing at all. I'm like, that's how we're still married. Don't you realize the work you're putting in not to say things? It's what you don't say that keeps you together, really, when you think about it. She goes, well, I can tell you're thinking about saying something right now, but you don't know whether you should or not. It's been 23 years, every single day. She goes, sometimes I think you want me to read your mind. I don't know. Slashed the tires yesterday. I said, what are you getting at? She goes, I'm staring over at you, and I can tell you're just thinking something right now, but you're not telling me what it is. I said, well, it's not that important, but we're sitting there watching TV. She had talked me into watching one of them Hallmark movies. Y'all ever seen one through them? Oh, man. If you've never seen it, I don't want to spoil how it turns out at the end. Or nothing like that. This was a Valentine's Day when we were watching, and the gist of it was that this lady, she's like 39 years old, she'd never been married, and she was okay with it, but her friends are putting pressure on her. And out of the blue, she gets a text from this boy she knew in high school. Like, they went on one date, and then after graduation, he moved to Canada to study hypothermia prevention in Edmonton or something like that. And they lost track, but he was coming back to visit his mom, who was in the hospital, so he thought, I'll text her and see what she's up to. So he does, he goes, hey, would you like to get together for coffee? And she's like, yes. And she's like, who is this? Then she finds out. And so he said, I'll be there for Valentine's Day and coming in the day before. So she gets so excited. Oh, she cannot wait. She starts knitting sweaters out of cat hair. She got laying around the house. She got 39 cats, no boyfriend. But that's her deal right there. And then day before Valentine's Day, sure enough, he lands. He texts her. He says, I'm on the way from the airport. Be there in about 45. She's like, oh, now she's real fired up, And he starts driving, and out of the blue, a big ice storm comes out. Y'all seen this one? Big ice storm starts covering up the road. He starts sliding around on the track. He gets to the covered bridge, and he's afraid to cross it because it's old and rickety, and he calls her up and says, honey, I'm sorry. I cannot make it. I'm stuck on the other side of this bridge. Sorry. And then she calls him right back. And luckily for him, she runs a tow truck company on the side, So she's like, give me a minute, and we'll give it a shot, see if we can get it across. So she pulls up, and she looks at him, and she goes, come on over. So now he guns that engine, he gets halfway across that bridge, and it starts shaking up and down like that, and it's crackling, and the bottom falls out of it, and he gets swept away in the ice water and freezes to death and drowns. Oh, I mean, that's sad. It's kind of ironic, because he did study hypothermia prevention up there in Edmonton for so many years. I don't know if it ended that way. I fell asleep during the opening credits, but... But we were on the couch sort of watching that, and she's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, here's what I'm thinking. Every commercial that's coming on here is telling me to spend a lot of money on Valentine's Day. I said, honey, you're worth every dollar, but I think I've got you everything I could think of over the years. I said, I'm going to communicate to you, I'm out of ideas. Is there something you would like? You know what she said? She goes, well, I don't want you to stress out about buying stuff for me. We don't need that stuff. She goes, how about this year we do something different? We just exchange ideas to each other on a piece of paper instead. I'm like, what kind of ideas? She said, I'm going to write down a couple of things you're not doing right around the house. You can do better. Like, stop right there. That's like a trap door and an escalator, Let me get this straight. You want to tell me something I'm not doing right around the house. I'm going to tell you something you're not doing right around the house. And that's a romantic Valentine's Day. She goes, well, if we fix those 6 or 7 things. I'm like, she's got this started already. Now 6-0, doesn't even play in the game. So I said, if that's what you want to do, that sounds fine to me. I wasn't thinking it through, was it, fellas? Because I'm thinking this could cost me the house. That's what it could cost me, right? But I knew she had 6 or 7 on me, so I wrote down a couple of ideas. We go out to Valentine's Day dinner and Probably the worst night of the year to go out to a restaurant. You ever been in that mess? We're waiting, it seemed like an hour for the food. I said, tell me what I'm not doing right. She goes, here's the big thing. If I ask you to fix something in the house, can you do it the same year I ask you to do it? I'm like, I thought I was pretty good at that. She goes, I'll ask you to change the light bulb that burns out. You wait till all the light bulbs burn out, then you change them all at once. That's why they put the extra ones up there, didn't they? I didn't say that out loud, I was thinking. I said, honey, I'll try harder, just let me know. She goes, fine, what about me? I'm like, I want to be clear, I don't think you're doing nothing wrong at all. But one thing I do kind of miss, before I had our kids 18 years ago, sometimes on the weekend, if I was home, you would surprise me with this big old breakfast, like I had growing up on the farm. I said, I know it takes forever and you're tired on the weekend, but man, that was some good eating. And I looked back across the table and she had started tearing up and crying right there at the Wendy's. Try to go somewhere nice. But she was really crying. Like, I didn't mean to make you cry, it's a compliment. She goes, I didn't think you liked my breakfast cooking, that's why I quit making it. I'm like, I loved it. And then I started tearing up and crying. Thinking about 18 years of Fruity Pebbles and Pop-Tarts I've been shoveling down. With soy milk, oh. You ever had soy milk? You take one sip of that, you want to chuck it down and go for a hole, I'll tell you what. So I said, I'm not saying you have to make breakfast, but I do miss it. She goes, well, I'm glad you told me. Maybe one day I'll make you breakfast. I'm like, all right, maybe one day I'll change the light bulb. But fellas, here's why you communicate. The very next morning I wake up, 6 a.m. I smell maple syrup, I smell pancakes, I don't know what else. I run downstairs, and my sweet wife had bought a candle somewhere that smells exactly like... It's funny now, ain't it? You ever been hungry and mad at 6 a.m.? Hit that bottom step, I'm all groggy, I see a candle, I'm like, what is going on with that candle? It's like, oh, I had to use it, the last light bulb just burned out. But my wife is good, she doesn't do anything crazy. She has one little habit that's kind of annoying once in a while. If you live with anybody, we all have our quirks, right? We all got them, I'm sure I got tons of them. My wife does the same where she pretends things didn't happen because I catch her doing something. Just minor things that don't even mean nothing, but she'll just... Like the other day, I made a cup of coffee. A little bit hot, so I put it back on the counter. Went out and got the mail. By the time I came back in, she was finishing off my mug of coffee and putting it in the dishwasher. Like, not a big deal, but I'm like, did you just drink my cup of coffee? I said, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And she runs out of it. It's just you and me here right now. I'm pretty sure you did. If the dog's drinking it, we got bigger problems. I said, it's no big deal, and I made myself another cup of coffee. But it kind of got under my skin because she had done that a lot. So a little later on afternoon, I noticed she had folded up all the towels out of the dryer. She had them out of the dryer and in the basket and stacked up and everything, and I was supposed to take them and put them away. So I let about a half hour go by, and when she's not looking, I throw all them towels back in the dryer. I'm lucky I still, I could be dead right now. I threw them in the dryer, threw some nickels and quarters in there and cranked it back up so she'd hear it, you know. It took her like 10 minutes, and she finally walks back by. She's like, what? I could have swore I folded all them towels. I'm like, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I ran upstairs to take a shower and locked the door behind me, and she's flushing the toilet trying to scald me like, did you just flush the toilet? Maybe I did, maybe I did. I reached out for my towel and it wasn't there until I threw them all back in the dryer. We do get I can't believe we're still married, you know. I think being married it's hard, but getting married is way harder, don't you think? Like finding the right person and getting it all figured out. Like, who's been married the least amount of time in here? Anybody like a couple of years or less? Right over there, how long for you two? Almost 1 year. When's the date, sir? When's the anniversary? The 28th? This one, he knew it. He's doing pretty good right there for a rookie. Good for you. And how long did y'all date each other before you got married?
4 years.
Oh, wow. How'd y'all meet? Oh, what kind of work y'all do?
Produce market.
Produce market? That is incredible. Yeah. was hanging out there working in the produce, and you look over the ear of corn, and there she is, just kind of working on the onion. You know, she's trying because of onion, or she's met her future husband, you're just trying to figure it out over there. That is great. Did you have a lot of, instead of like a wedding cake, did you have lettuce and stuff like that? So, you could have got a good deal, both of you worked there. Apple pie, that's very good. And so, man, that's awesome. So dated for 4 years, got to know each other, and thought, this is it. That's very good. Did you have a big wedding or a small one? Yeah, like how many people do you think? It was here? Oh, very good. How many people were here? 100? That's not too bad. It can get pretty big though, can't it? It can get expensive. Like when we got married, this is a long time ago yet, we had everything figured out. Our church was great with us. We're going to have the service in here, and we have the reception in the reception hall. And we were really on budget. Then 2 days before, a big storm came through Nashville and put an oak tree right down the middle of the reception hall of the church. It should have been a sign for her to get out, but she I've been here. And so we still had the service in the sanctuary. We had to find a hotel ballroom on 2 days' notice in Nashville. Nobody was giving us a deal. One guy said, I'll cut you a break, give you the main ballroom for the night, $12,000. Well, I'm like, I'll buy a used single wide and keep it and make some money off of this, dude. $12,000. I'm like, man. I'm like, where can I afford to have my reception at? He looked at me like, rest area, I-65. He was right. That was easy access off the interstate. Everything was bolted down so my in-laws couldn't haul it off to Arkansas. Had ours catered by vending. That's a good catering operation right there. So did you have a lot of bridesmaids at your wedding? 2? Oh, you're a lucky man. She only had 2 bridesmaids. My wife had 9. I only had 3 friends. I'm like, rotate twice more. Come on, keep your mind. Let's do it. Left turn, left turn. That is so good. And did you get her, I mean, this is an important question because it's different than when I got married. Did you take her ring shopping for the engagement ring before, or did you surprise her and pop the question with a ring?
I surprised her.
Very good. She had to remind you of that. It looked like right there she got it. She did. So, how'd you know?
We went shopping here in Bay. The engagement.
Oh, so you, okay, so she kind of knew something was coming around the corner.
No, exactly.
Oh, I got you. So you surprised her with the engagement ring, but you went shopping for the bed. Very good. See, I didn't do that. I was trying to figure out what ring size she was for the engagement ring, right? And so around Thanksgiving that year, I had her trace her hand on a piece of paper. That's pretty good, ain't it? She didn't know what I was up to. Neither did the guy at the jewelry store. Give me a ring for that. You gonna marry a turkey or what? What's going on here? I said, can't you ballpark the ring size of that turkey hand drawn? He goes, no, man. He goes, listen, here's what you do. Next time you go pick her up for a date, see if you can find out where she keeps the rest of her jewelry. She'll have a box full of rings, maybe 2 or 3 at least. Grab one of those and bring it down here and I'll size it up for you. And you can just match it up. He said, can you do that? I'm like, oh yeah. Because back in those days, she spent extra time getting ready to go out. Y'all ladies remember those days? Those extra time days? Oh, now it's just socks and Crocs and Ralph and she still has, but back then she was self-conscious about an eyebrow that comes straight out. Like it's just like a curve feeler on an El Camino. It's doing what it's doing all by itself. And when we were dating, she was self-conscious, so she would like spray some hairspray on her thumb and mash back on it for like 5 minutes. You know? And she'd let off 1 second, too early, ping, it popped right back out at you. And so I was waiting in the kitchen, I hear, ping, I'm like, I got 5 minutes right now. Hit restart on that eyebrow. So I snuck around the corner and got a ring out of her dresser and took it to the jewelry store. Sure enough, he's got a piece of rebar. He drops it on there and tells you what ring size she is. I said, all right, give me an engagement ring. And I said, give me a wedding band while we're in here so it'll match. But I want 2 separate receipts, just in case she runs off with the engagement ring. I am not going through that a 4th time. So, yeah, it's a true story. So I had that ring burn a hole in my pocket from basically Thanksgiving to Christmas morning. I'm down in Arkansas meeting all my future in-laws. I get down on my knee, pop the question, and apparently I had gotten a toe ring out of her dresser drawer. It's funny now. You ever seen a princess cut toe ring like this? We couldn't fit it on anything. She goes, wait a what you did. Yeah. But she's a good gal. We do get along good. I mean, she's from Arkansas, so for a comedian, it don't get much better than that, does it? You don't got to make nothing up. You just jot it down. You go visit. I'll just give you a snapshot of them in-laws. My favorite is my brother-in-law, Skillet. I wrote that down the second I heard it. Apparently, the story behind that nickname, he tried to go to Waffle House and dine and dash without paying, and the waitress caught him in the parking lot and knocked him out cold with a skillet. He was smothered and covered right there in the parking lot. The best part about that, guess what his wife's name is? Pam. Isn't that great? That's just what it is. I don't know how they're still together. That should be a non-stick relationship right there. But they're from down there. I grew up in Kentucky with, saw my parents last week. Man, I'm blessed, they're still around. They're slowing down a little bit. My dad is 89, my mom is 87 years old. Isn't that something? They're in the same little ranch house I grew up in. It was the tobacco farm. They've been there since 1962. It's amazing. I stopped in to visit and said, "What's going on around here, Mom?" She was so excited. She's like, she just lit up like a Christmas tree. She's like, "We just got a home security system installed in here. What do you think about that?" I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking? Somebody's going to break in and remodel when you're not looking? My parents' house is nice, but they haven't changed anything since I left back in the 80s. Like if somebody broke down the door, they would turn the gun on themselves. They would think they got inside a 70s museum. Knock down the door, trip over the beanbag chair, hit the couch, and slide off the plastic. Hit the wall, big orange picture made of yarn and nails that come right down on the My dad would go pet rock, stay down, stay down. Like even if somebody broke in, they couldn't get away with their stereo. They'd bring 8 more guys in a pickup truck to get a hold of that. You know what I'm talking about? 6 foot wide, high. Looks like wood made out of plastic and heavier than concrete. Would y'all have green or red or gold? Velour speakers 3 feet apart. So somebody breaks down the door, just hide in that little compartment and wait for them to go away. Pop out with an Oak Ridge Boys 8-track tape. Giddy up, boom, bop, down there. I should make fun of that stereo. It's going to be mine one day. My parents have been downsizing, which sounds nice, but they're just giving me stuff they should have thrown away 40 or 50 years ago. This last trip, my mom gave me an old computer she found in the attic. The Commodore 64. So, can you get that up and running for me? Yeah, I'll get Windows 57 on there next week. Yeah, my parents, it's funny, that was my older brother's computer. He got it in like 84, 85 out of a Sears or JCPenney catalog. Remember those catalog shops back in the day? Yeah. And he knew how to reprogram it like a month later. He just figured it out, you know. My parents, bless their heart, never been on a computer at all till last Christmas, just a couple months ago. They've never been on, they didn't want one, but they're at the age now where they don't drive the 3 hours to see their grandkids like they want to. My dad's got cataracts and mom can't hear. When they're in the car together, it's like Mr. Magoo driving Miss Daisy. That's it, cowboy lad. So they said, we were thinking if we had one of them computers, we could just Skype or FaceTime or whatever they call it and see the grandkids, and we wanted to drive down there, but we do want to see them before we get too big. I said, well, that'd be great. It'd be helpful for us, too. So my brothers and I, we pitched in, got a laptop for Christmas. A couple of days later, my dad calls me up on the landline. He said, "Richard Dale, I'm about to fire off an email to you. Keep an eye out for it." I said, "All right, I'll go. Hey, just so y'all know, you don't have to call people right before you fire off an email to them. If you're going to text me later, how about a smoke signal? That'd be a good idea." But I figured he just wanted to make sure I got his email, so I log in, and there's an email, but it's not coming from my dad. It's asking me if I want to follow him on Twitter. This ain't good for nobody right here. I clicked the button. Not only had he got on there and put up a page, in 2 days he put out 164 tweets. All capital letters, no punctuation, and 0 followers. Like he's just tweeting in the breeze. Let him rip, buddy, let him rip. But I'm thinking 164, either finally realized after about 2 minutes, it's not individual tweets. It's just one big story broken into 164 pages. It took him 2 days to type in. It gets even worse. The whole story was about birds. Because my dad thought Twitter was a bird watching update on the website. That's my gene pool. Lucky I found this place. Well, if you're into it, it's Twitter or X or whatever they call it now, you can look him up. He's at Nuthatcher 401-261853, which is also his social security number. You want to log him out, the password is password. Yeah, I love my family. I got some good characters. I got my Uncle Chuck, he's my favorite uncle. Y'all may have had a family member like this. When I was growing up, he stopped by the house. He slipped me a $20 bill when nobody was looking. He goes, "Don't tell your mom or dad I gave you that," you know. Then like an hour after you left, he's gone. My mom's like, "Has somebody been to my purse?" We kept that going for about 7 years. He's a good guy. He's a tough guy. Man, he's still around. He's 91. He's tough. 50% Irish, 50% Italian. Yeah. That's the combo right there. Very pale and pasty white, very and angry all at the same time. He looks like a marshmallow's been kicked around on a barbershop floor. Not the guy you want to take to the beach in Speedos, we found out, you know. He scared shrimp away. They've got tiny eyeballs. That's my Uncle Chuck, tore up from the floor up Chuck, you know. When I was a kid, I was fascinated because he had a glass eye, a toupee, and false teeth. I'm like, that's not Uncle, that's Mr. Potato Head going on right there. He got me into music when I was growing up, man. He took me to my first concert back in 1979. Went and saw Kiss. Y'all remember Kiss? I saw them in the 70s. Saw them a couple years ago. They need to make up this time around, don't they? That's a Wagon Love Ugly on tour right there. Whole concert sponsored by Mary Kay just to help him out. I don't know if y'all are like me, I kind of keep listening to the stuff I grew up on. I need to learn how to listen to new music, but it just doesn't stick, does it? Like when you're older, you just kind of know what you know. Like I got the 11-year-old now, and she loves Taylor Swift. And I'm glad she found a boyfriend, but I don't need to hear about him every single week. You know? Because apparently a lot of her previous relationships did not work out with Taylor Swift. We listened to her CDs the other day in the car. My daughter started noticing the trend. She has 16 different songs about breaking up with boyfriends. After 16, the problem could be you. All right. Why you gotta be so mean? Just shake it off. Shake it off. I can imagine being a guy going on a date with her. The whole time you're probably thinking, what does my name rhyme with? My daughter, we were shopping for her the other day. Her birthday's coming up. I said, "What do you want for your birthday?" Man, these kids come out strong, firing away. First thing she goes is, "I need to get an iPad Air, 64 gigabytes with a built-in Wi-Fi plan." I'm like, "Honey, I don't even have one of those yet. You're going to have to wait on that." She goes, "Well, how about an iPhone?" I'm like, "Who are you even calling? The Justin Bieber support line? You don't need an iPhone." I said, "Honestly, you need to do what I did when I was little. Go outside and play with a stick." Probably play with a stick growing up? Yeah. I said, "Get a wireless stick and see how that works out for you." 64 hickory nuts, get a good one. So we didn't get the iPhones. We go to her favorite store I can afford stuff, Five Below. You ever go in that store? We're hanging out in there, and we finally find her a couple little things that she can get for her birthday, and we get to the checkout line. And it's self-service there now, you know, nobody's working nowhere. And I was like, "You know what I'm talking about?" And so we're waiting for this kiosk or whatever you want to call it to open up. And I'm looking at my daughter, looking at the basket, and my daughter is just staring lasers across the room. I'm like, "What are you staring at?" She goes, "Papa, look." I'm like, "Man, don't stare. She goes, "But you gotta look." And I looked over there, and there's a lady with her daughter at one of them kiosks, and the lady was wearing a pair of them Spanx. You know Spanx? It's supposed to be underwear, right? But this lady just had them out there and everywhere. They were like, she was in a Lululemon parade or something. She just had them. Wore them right to the Five Below. And my daughter's confused. She's like, "Is she wearing her pajamas to the store?" I'm like, "No." And as quiet as I could, I said, "Honey, those are called Spanx." And my daughter, louder than she's ever said anything in her whole life, those spanks. That's a full-blown whooping right there. I could not get small enough. Well, I guess what you're gonna get when we get home, young lady. I'm gonna play a couple quick tunes on the guitar before we turn you all loose tonight. You guys having a good time so far this evening? Yeah, good luck. Whose guitar was this? Is he here? Where's Joe at? Joe, this is a beautiful guitar. How long have you had this one?
2 years now.
2 years. It is absolutely. I did a little strumming on it before I got up here. Voices. Listen to that. Man, that is real good. Well, let's see what kind of musical fans we got out there. Got any Southern rock fans way up here in Michigan? Anybody? Yeah. Let's go there. That's all I know of Southern rock right there. That kind of gets you fired up for a second, though, don't it? I mean, how many times in your life do you think you've heard that song on the radio? Over 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 if you're my age? My goodness. I started thinking, how lucky is the state of Alabama? They got a cool song with their name in it, and people around the world hear it for the first time, and they got a good association. Not every state gets that lucky, you know? I want to just do a show in West Virginia once. I mean, y'all got a song like that? Yeah, we do. Where'd he go? I like all kinds of music, man. I grew up in the 80s. Anybody else like get out of high school back in the 80s out there? Anybody? All right. Thanks for staying up late on a weeknight. I know what it means. We're getting up there. We're getting up there. The big band when I was in high school, probably the biggest band at the time in the moment, was Poison. Y'all remember Poison? For whatever reason, I really got into those fellas. And I heard a commercial last summer that cracked me up. It goes, Poison, back on the road this summer. Same songs, same energy, it's just a different decade. I'm like, man, what was that same energy? There is no way. We'll all be sitting down and bringing lawn chairs to that show. I bet they try. I bet they come out all fired up for a minute. Change your name to defibrillator or something like that. Then I went to later school, went to college, and it was all like a heavy metal, kind of faded out, and like bands like Pearl Jam came out of the blue. Remember Pearl Jam? They got a new album coming out. It's been 40 years since. This is my favorite Pearl Jam song right here. Oh, here, oh, here, oh, here, oh. What is that guy trying to say? Sounds like Bob Dylan getting the hump. I never know. I like country music probably as much as anybody else. Y'all like country music a little bit? I love a good country song. One of my favorite country guys is Trace Atkins. Boy, he's got a good voice, doesn't he? Way deep down in there, I don't even know how this gets out of me so far in there. What I like most about Trace Atkins, when he gets stuck for a rhyming word, he just makes up a brand new one and throws it in there. Keeps on moving. Yeah, first time I picked up on it, he had that song, Honky Tonk, Badonka Donk. You ever hear that masterpiece? That is Shakespeare right there. Let me tell you what. First time I hear it, that opening beat comes on, it's really cool. So I crank up my stereo and the nonsense just starts. He's like, she got a honky tonk, badonka donk. That's you can get her britches on. It's none of your business, buddy. And he says, well, ought to be a law. Slap your land law. Like, what the hell is this man trying to say to me here? Somebody's been kidnapped and he's got code words coming out here. Somebody's writing song at Dr. Seuss at happy hour is what it sounds like. Well, I'm a donkey dog with a fox or near a box, thank you very much. Now that song makes us raise your hand if you ever slapped your grandma. Anybody? Anybody still got that hand to raise? My grandma ripped my arm off and beat me with it and crocheted it back on. Walking get in arguments and we get in these heated discussions, you know, and my neighbor the other day goes, I can't even tell a good country song from a bad one. I'm like, dude, you can listen. Every great country song will have one of these things to let you know. You ever hear one of those? That's how you know it's a keeper right there. And all that country music does, like you never crank up heavy metal, like. And I think it was the late great Johnny Cash that came up with it. Remember those old Johnny Cash songs? He's probably just hanging out one day going, man, these songs are coming right along. I believe I need a could have had a jalapeno popper burning a fire. And it burns, burns, burns. Well, my favorite thing about country music is they team up with other country musicians quite a bit. And last time I was here, I did this, and somebody asked me if I could do it again. So I'm going to wrap up tonight with a fun thing where I get somebody, I need a guy from the audience to come up here and help me back up sing on this song. You don't got to be a great singer, just a good sport, and you'll get a prize for helping out. I see some people pointing over there, that fella. Would you mind helping out? Okay. He's been volunteered. Come on. Now, are you ready for this? Yeah, if you want to pick somebody else and put them in your place, I can't stop you. But Rick, mine too. Rick's now stepping forward about a step. Rick, everybody over there seems to know you pretty good. Does everybody else know Rick? Yeah. Okay, so Rick, give us a couple sentences about yourself. What do you do around this area? Cover or something? Not anymore. Do you work with the authorities? Yeah. Okay, and what kind of? No, I do wealth management. Oh, wealth management. Very good. Well, I got about 30 more years so I can talk to you. So, let me ask you this. You advising on Bitcoin? People getting some of that going on? Don't like it? No, I don't like that one bit at all, do you? Now, if I bought Bitcoin, I wouldn't even know where I would have it. Is it in my phone, or is it on the cloud, or where is it? Probably both. But then if I wanted to get to it, could I?
Probably wouldn't be there.
Probably wouldn't be there. So why are people getting into it? Yeah. You know where I got all my money invested in? I've been holding on to it for 20 years. Marlboro Miles. Marlboro Miles. I'll give you a tip one day. All right. So Rick, have you been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, 30 something.
Very good. And you right here, you want to give a commercial for yourself? What's the name of the group? Just Rick's Wealth Management?
Yeah.
All right. Feel free to plug it if you want. But if not, keep on rocking. So have you ever sang in front of a group like this before?
No.
Oh man, this would be great. And you won't risk any wealth doing it, just maybe a little bit of recognition around the neighborhood once in a while. Very good. Well, the reason I got a guy to turn to sing his song is something like Warren Buffett and Jimmy Buffett says. All right. So all you got to do, Rick, is whenever I say, I'm just a guy, I just want you to sing loudly and proudly, guy, I'm just a guy. Okay. Super easy. I'll show you where it goes, and we'll do it a couple times to kind of get that. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy.
Guy, just a guy.
Very good. I'm just a guy.
Guy, just a guy.
That's going to work just fine. And I think it's only fair, since Rick is up here helping me out. Rick, don't you think everybody sitting down can help out too?
Yeah.
Very good. So, at the end of the song, I'll say 3, 2, 1, drum solo. I want y'all to stomp your feet, do some drumming on your seat backs. If you got a new knee or a new hip, just wail on that, get some popping noise going. And when you hear the drumming, you're done singing. But when they start drumming, I'm going to try to keep up with them on the guitar. So the faster they go, the faster I'm going to go. And like like you to join in with an air guitar solo to finish it up, just like that. All right? So I'll kind of remind everybody of those things as we get to it. We're gonna practice singing one last time. If he nails it, I want every lady out there to scream and holler like it's a 10-hour Luke Bryan concert. All right? I'm just a guy.
Just a guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't like 5-hour phone calls or spending all day at the shopping mall. I'd rather get mad and punch a hole in the wall. I'm a guy.
Just a guy.
And I never say I love you all that much. When we dine out, it better be Dutch. I can't mend broken hearts, but I can fix your clutch. I'm a guy.
Just a guy.
I'm a guy, what can I say? I remember Lola night, but I forgot your birthday. I'm a guy.
Just a guy.
I left the toilet seat up and you slipped in. I took a picture and showed all your friends. Ain't it funny how fast relationships can end? I'm a guy.
Just a guy. Just a guy.
I'm just a guy, I've got some good health, and if you got $1 million, I can manage your wealth. I'm a guy. I've been singing that line for 10 years. It's the first time it ever made any sense. I'm gonna count down from 3. When we get to 1, I want to hear a big old drum solo and some air guitar. All right? All right. 3, 2, 1. Help us out. $20 to put in Bitcoin right now, just for doing that. Man, y'all are a lot of fun tonight. Y'all are just such a great group. Earlier tonight they were talking about the cause that we're here for, and y'all did have some options to raise some money over there for that. It's not too late to do that as well. There's be some other opportunities later. But I think it's a great cause that we're trying to do. I hate that there is the cause that we have to take care of this, but man, they're taking care of the people and getting them back in society the best they can and helping out. So give till it helps. Give it till it helps. Do that. If you want to help a little bit extra and you don't know what you can do, it's not much, but I've got a CD. The CDs are free because nobody has a CD player, so feel free to take as many of those. One person can take the whole stack. It won't bother me. But I thought I'd try to raise a couple extra bucks while we're here tonight. A couple years ago, I got to be in a movie where I was a Barney Fife impersonator, and the movie's called Mayberry Man. Now, some of y'all may or may not know about this. It's actually now a series. We've got 5 episodes coming out May 30th. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, I'm pretty sure, and it's on PureFlix and other places. But I've got the DVD here too. If you want to contribute something, whatever you put towards this, I'm going to just give right to our cause tonight and help them grow the fund a little bit more, just a little bit. But stop by and see me either way. Y'all, it's a real pleasure. Thank you, guys.
We're so thankful that everybody came out tonight. I think we are going to have some raffle giveaways, I want to say. I'm looking for Steve Addy right now, and I don't know, I don't see him in the back. He's probably taking care of some business back there. But why don't you guys stay put right here just for now while they come up in just a moment here. But greet the ones around you. Wasn't it great having Rick here tonight? Man, he was so good. was so good. But meet and greet with one another, get to know somebody that you don't know, and